is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, you guys provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals, because at the end of the day, you guys, I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. Happy Monday, everybody. I got a very special guest for you guys. I'm going to bring him up right now. You know, I always love bringing other podcasters in the industry on the show, but most importantly, I love bringing them on when they're actually slanging freight as well on top of it. So I have Mr. Robert Peterson on the show today with the Logistics Lounge. Robert, what is going on, brother? How are you?
Yo. What's up, my man? How are you doing this wonderful Monday?
Oh, dude, I'm doing great. I already got my cold call started. I'm already, we're moving freight. We got a bunch of shit going on this week. And, at the end of the day, man, it's an exciting time in the industry, because I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to a change in the tide, as in like capacity tightening up and getting back to like the real side of the industry, so the real players can show up and start performing.
Man, I am there with you, dude, on that. Golly, like, yes, we need to try to get back to some type of normality in this thing, man. Like, we all know how cyclical this industry is, but I mean, let's be crazy. The cycle we've been in right now has been, like the tumble setting on the dryer. You know what I mean? Like, it's been just the most horrible cycle you could ask to be in. So I'm with you, dude. And I think everyone's still pretty optimistic about the way the year is going to shape up, even with a lot of the tariffs and trading and stuff that we got going on. I still think that we're going to have a wonderful 2025.
Oh, dude, I'm right there with you, man. I try and be as I'm an optimistic realist, as I put it, right? Like, I'm optimistic that things are going to get better, but I'm a realist in the fact that, like, dude, I just got to keep showing up and putting in the work every single day with stuff like that. But so, dude, what is the Logistics Lounge, man? For anybody who's listening to this right now, I see you guys going live a lot. You guys are putting in the work out there. What is the Logistics Lounge? Who are you guys interviewing and stuff like that?
So, man, if we just put it like we put to everyone, man, the Logistics Lounge it's like a cop bar, but in logistics form, man. That's what it is, dude. I mean, picture, if you will, we've all seen the movies from the 60s, 70s, 80s, the cop movies where they all get off, they have a bar, O'Shaughnessy's at the corner or whatever. Everyone goes hang out, and they just talk about the day, man, the stuff that they dealt with, things that may be coming up, problems, that type of stuff, and it's relaxed. And that's what ours is, man. You come on a show, we just talk about anything logistics related in a relaxed atmosphere. If you want to have yourself a drink, make it a little easier for yourself, you do that too. But we have on everyone: shippers, brokers, carriers, tech people, warehouse folks, man. We even have monster truck drivers on talking about, transport monster trucks. So no one, or I should say everyone, is welcome on our show. If your job or your company touches logistics, we want to talk to you.
Yeah. No, and that's it's a very similar path that I take with a lot of my content, right? Like, I saw, and I still kind of see this out there, I'm never discrediting anybody's experience in it, but like, as somebody who is trying to build their business up, I want to talk to people who are in the trenches making stuff happen, right? And I just think, like, there's a big difference between what happened 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and what you're doing today to make your business work and build and everything. Because, if you've been in any industry for any amount of time, you understand the last 30 days are irrelevant. Last week's performance is irrelevant. It's what's going on today. How are you doing that? But most importantly, what are you doing that's working? And that's like just the entire direction of the content that I take out there, man, is I just want to have an education-based show where people can come in, get some value out of it, apply it to their business, and then see a difference out there with it, and there's no better opportunity than like kind of what we have right now with social media, with content creation and everything else. Yeah, you could go in other directions, but like, I just only want to focus on the fundamentals at the end of the day, because like, I think there's people fall into two camps. They fall into the oh, well, what are the big guys doing out there? Because, that's applicable. And to a point it is, but like the moves that a lot of these large companies are making are almost the opposite of what you should be doing if you're like a small startup organization. And then I feel like paralysis analysis and a bunch of stuff pops into it. But it's like, I want to talk to the operators, the people who are actually in it and building.
I feel the same way, man. And I also think that this way of doing things, the content creation, the podcast and stuff, it allows us to reach those people and talk to them. I would, you could say face to face, but also
Yeah.
allow other people to see them, physically, and that goes a long way. Someone writing a post, that's easy, dude. You and I could have chat GPT, or just copy and paste some stuff that means nothing. We see that regurgitated stuff all the time,
Yeah.
so, and I agree, in the fact that, being able to get multiple people's perspective from across the industry matters no matter what you do, man. If you're a carrier, you need to be knowing how brokers and shippers do business, how tech people design their tools. Same thing if you're a broker, man. You want to hear from these carriers the things that they looking for, the type of partners they want, shippers, tech folks, all of that stuff. This is our industry is very informational driven, and you said it not too long ago. The information changes like daily, hourly. What is great now is most likely not going to be the great thing next week or within 30 days. So
No,
I think
absolutely.
stuff like this and these outlets have become massively important. But I do want to have the other side of that. There are some people that are coming into this that they're not putting out good information, and they're adding to the misconceptions and misleading people too. So I also think if you're going to be in this, you're going to watch people, you need to make sure that you're following the right folks that are putting out the information that is of actual value to you.
No, absolutely, and that's why I think it's I've seen a lot of that where there's always like kind of like some back end angles with some of the content that you see out there, right? Where it's like, oh, if you comment on their post, all of a sudden you're getting a DM to sign up for their course or join this and all that other shit. And I'm just like, and again, I've said this before, and I'm going to say this again: I will never charge for content, right? Like I will never do that no matter how big my company gets, whatever happens, everything that I put out there, I'm never going to put it behind a paywall or anything like that. Because, like, at the end of the day, man, nothing that I'm doing is like proprietary. But if there's anything that we can do to help elevate the industry to kind of silence a lot of the bad actors, because, like, eventually, if we put enough quality stuff out there for everybody, all of those bad actors that you're talking about are going to be so easily identifiable that they're not going to ever gain any traction out there. Because, like, I look at it as like a lot of individuals, man, like, dude, I got every dollar I've ever made in my life wrapped up into this working. And I've talked to other people out there who have started a business and signed up for a course and spent their last dollar that they had. And I'm like, man, that's just so fucked up. Like nobody should be taking advantage of that. So I'm like, and that was one of the things, man. Like that's just such a huge mission of mine where it's like, dude, I just want people to know that when you listen to this show, there's no attaboy gotchas. That's why, like, I have a newsletter. I will not auto sign people up for it. If you want to sign up for it, cool, go to my website. That's where it is, because I want it value driven only, because I don't want anybody to ever think that, like, oh, I need your information so I can start spamming the shit out of you.
You hit it on the head with that one, dude. We touch on that a lot, on our show, but just with the other people that we talk to in general. There are some of the folks that put out information and they charge folks for it. Hey, I'm not hating on anyone's hustle, but a majority of the time, from my experience, a lot of those people that are charging for stuff, the information is not worth it. It just isn't. And let's be real here. This is too amazing of an industry and loaded with people that are willing to help you for free 99. So you shouldn't be having to pay anything to get it, because I talked about all the time. I think LinkedIn is the most powerful tool you could have if you're in logistics. You want to build a network of any kind, you want to find carriers, other brokers, anything, or just get advice. That's where you need to be. Use your network. The whole pay to play thing, it just usually is not worth it. And again, I don't hate anyone that does it, but I'm with you. I'll never do that. My co-host 900 will never do that. We made that decision a long time ago. Like never going to charge someone to come on our show or to have access to our content or any of that, because, like, who are we to say our stuff is worth the amount of money when we know you can just get it from somewhere else for free?
Yeah. Dude, I'm right there with you. And like when same thing, like the whole charging to be on the show and everything. I've never charged a guest to be on it. Like I do, I'm very fortunate. I have advertisers, right? And I don't need to. And like, but I did it for free too. And it's like, and I would do it for free, again, if anything ever happened with that, because same thing, man. Like I'm out here trying to just make a difference in an industry that's literally giving me my entire life. And I want to make sure that this continues to, down the right path. I want to do as much as I possibly can to keep it down that trajectory. And so, dude, like what brought you into trucking, Robert? Like, how'd you get your start in this?
That's a good story, man. I would try to make it, it actually is. I'll try to make it as short as possible. So I got into logistics in the army. Signed up high to the war, little dumb kid just looking to do something in my life. Became an 88 Mike, which is basically a truck driver in the army. Had a whole plan, man. My whole family is military. I was going to do my 20, become a warrant officer, a movement transportation officer, which is pretty much a logistics manager in the army. And dude, I got hurt. I got hurt really early in my career. I tried getting surgery, but the army ended up putting me out. So I immediately took those skills from the military and applied it to my civilian life, man. I got out. I got my CDL on my own without a school, even though every company out there told me, you've got to go to a civilian school. And I said, well, I went to the United States Army school of 7 weeks, so I think I'm perfectly fine. And but I did got my CDL on my own, man. Rented a truck, passed the test, found a company that was willing to give me a shot. I drove for 10 and a half years, mainly reefer freight. I did, OTR and regional and stuff, local pickup and delivery. And man, I reached what I felt was the pinnacle of my pay really early on in my career. I was 5 years in, making high 80s, as a driver home every night, what I mean? Yeah. So I was like, well, the next step is for me to get in the office. I'll get into that 6-figure range. And as every driver out there can attest that's ever gone in the office, I said, I'm going to make a difference. So that's what it was, man. And I put myself through college behind the wheel of a truck. It took me 4 years to get an associate's degree, but gosh darn, I did it. And I got out of the truck for a few years and I hated it. I hated being on the shipper side. I hated being on the office side. It was counter to everything that I believed as a driver. And the pay really sucked. I'm not gonna lie, it sucked really bad. I went back to driving for a while. COVID happened, and I had an opportunity come across to help someone set up a brokerage. Didn't know anything about brokering, knew a little bit from my time in it, but kind of really didn't know much about it. Man, taught myself everything, helped this guy get his company set up, and that didn't go right because the partners were embezzling money from each other.
That's embezzlement.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I got fortunate enough, man. I met my current boss on LinkedIn, and he pulled me over into his company. It taught me everything I know about sales in this industry, everything I know about brokering. I continue to learn from that guy every single day. Been with him almost 4 years, and and here I am. And along the way, I decided, dude, like me and my buddies, like, man, how cool would it be to just like start a podcast, man, and a bunch of people just hang out and shoot the shit and all of that kind of stuff. And that's kind of where we are with the lounge. So I do a little bit of brokering and I do a little bit of the content stuff now.
Dude, I love it, man. It's guys with experience like you that I think need to have a larger presence out there, right? Because being behind the wheel like you did for as long as you did, like my only experience in behind the wheel is this riding with my dad, right? Like, because he was an owner op, he drove for 40 years, and the amount of time that I spent in a truck growing up, like that's it. But it pales in comparison to actually being out on the freeway, operating that truck, being away from your family, your loved ones, and everything else. And that's why it's like, for me, man, like I sympathize with the life, right? But you said something there, Robert, that it reminds me of a lot of the drivers that I know, when it was like, dude, I hated working in the office. I needed to be out there doing something. And it is a big thing, because I feel like a lot of people think that, oh, the drivers have it easy. That is a complete, don't take that as a literal statement on my end here. But they're like, oh, drivers have it easier, shippers have it easier, oh, brokers just sit back and make all this money. And until you take the time to go and walk a mile in their shoes, to actually get a full understanding of what it takes to actually do that job and then do it at a high level, because like there's a lot of people out there who are like, oh, I'm a broker this week, and oh, I'm selling insurance the next week, and oh, I'm a real estate agent now. There's a lot of that shit that's out there. But like my good buddy Chris Brewer of River City Logistics, like, dude, this isn't a job to us. Like, this is our profession. This is our life. Like, we take this and we want to apply it and build it to the next level out there, man. So like, dude, I think you got a very unique skill set in doing all of that and then taking the time to create the content and the podcast to put that message out there, because I might be one of the few people who actually understands the work that it takes to produce, distribute in every single episode that comes along with this.
Yeah, amen. I appreciate the compliment, and I'm not to toot my own horn here, but I honestly feel that all the things that I've done in logistics is what makes me a valuable partner with everyone that I work with, and it has helped me so many times, like drivers call and they start talking to me about this, that, and the third, and oh, you don't know anything. It's like, pump your brakes, buddy. Trust me, I've been there. You're not going to tell me a story that I have probably not firsthand dealt with. And that helps me build bonds with these carriers. They no longer see, man, I'm just talking to some dumb broker, never can't even start a truck, like they now know, hey, I'm talking to a guy that's been there, it's done that. And it helps me to treat them right, but it also helps me to see the idiots when they come along too. You know what I mean? So it keeps me away from dealing with those bad carriers and shippers. Man, it gives me a perspective with them. Same thing. A lot of these other brokers don't get, man. All they've done is the broker side, maybe something else in logistics, but I can sit there and talk to them about every single part of their supply chain and how it's going to function, the ideas we could work together on to make things better. And so I think that's, to me, I didn't realize when I was going through the steps, Chris, that all of that was adding value to me, because I never thought this is where I was going to be, dude. My path, I thought, was going to be, a director of transportation for a publicly traded trucking company, trying to make drivers' lives as best as I can from someone being behind the desk. So, but I love it, man. I wouldn't trade any of it for anything. And I still learn stuff every single day that continues to make me a value to those that I deal with. And that's another reason I love this industry. You never stop learning in this one, man.
Dude, I'm right there with you. And I think that, from my perspective, this is how we really kind of clean things up is when the brokers are out there. Cause like, I know that there's people who are like, oh, brokers aren't going to exist, yada, yada, yada. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But at the end of the day, I feel like when the right brokers pair up with the right shippers, we can help expedite their operations, clean up their operations, but then we can pass that on to our driver partners, right? At the end of the day, to make sure their lives are more efficient, because there's one line that always sticks in my head that my old man always said, hey man, when my wheels aren't turning, I ain't earning, So like, how do we sit there and, effectively work with our customers and then take that information, give all of that stuff to our drivers so they're successful out there, right? And it's like, for me, it's like, as a broker, yes, there is only so much we can do. We're not loading the truck, we're not driving, but you can pick up the phone and you can find out everything you possibly can about a shipper and a receiver. And then you can be what you are, that middleman. All right. That's what you're supposed to be. You are supposed to facilitate that movement from your customer to your carrier, because they are 1A and 1B of importance out there. The ones who are good at their job, they get that, right? And they want that, because like for me, I want to work with the same drivers time and time again, Robert. I do not want to go out there to a spot market. Yes, we do use them, but I want to use those same drivers week in and week out as much as I possibly can, because there's just that sense of ease that comes along with it as a broker. Like, dude, I'm not rolling the dice. And then especially when I know, like, hey, I got some really good carriers out of Florida that just run Florida to Virginia and back. Flatbeds, boom. Dude, like this morning, for example, we got a same day opportunity. I'm texting my drivers, hey, are you here? Are you here? Are you here? I got this load. I can pick today or tomorrow, anything like that. I want to go there before I go out there, because, at the end of the day, it just builds up that familiarity that comes along with it. If, all of our customers, because I only do open deck freight at the end of the day. So it's like all of our customers, man, we need photos of the load. We need all of that stuff. They're bought into it. They get it. They know that, hey, when I show up to this shipper, I'm going to get loaded within an hour and a half. And, when I get offloaded, same thing. It's, whatever that looks like, and try and build that synergy up.
Yeah. I love everything you said. I want to unpack it. You kind of touched on two important things there that I want to make sure everyone got this point that Chris made. First thing, brokers, have gotten away from this realization or the concept of what a broker is, and that is a liaison. That's what you are. You said it, Chris. We are the middleman. We are the people that put the shipper and the carrier together and help the supply chain be successful. And a lot of brokers have gotten away from that, man. And a lot of shippers don't understand that anymore either. That, they think brokers are just one-sided. We're only there for the shipper. We're only there for the receiver. And yeah, that may be our primary job, but you got to be there for your carriers as well. You have to treat them right. You've got to make sure they're paid a fair wage. You give them good information, all of these things. And I feel really, especially over the last 5 years, we have moved away from that tremendously. I mean, really, it has. Brokers are now just seen as partners of the shipper pretty much, and not the middleman, the liaison that we're supposed to be. As far as carrier relationships, I'm with you, man, 100%. A lot of people talk about it. Very few people understand how to do it. And I say that because, man, we're in an industry, or stuck in this part of the industry that, commissions are a big part of everything we do. Money, it means everything. And, getting another $100 on a load could be a lot to a broker, but that could also be a lot to that carrier. And that could be something that is extreme value to you. That $100 could, give that carrier some extra fuel, buy them some food, whatever the case is, and make them more loyal to you, do a better job for you. And when it comes to carrier partnerships, man, I look at it as all the things that you said, about it gives you the sense of knowing who you're dealing with. But sorry, Chris, brain fart. Efficiency. To me, that is what I love most about logistics, is you are taking a problem that is a problem and you are finding a way to get the most efficient outcome from it. And when it comes to having carrier partners, that is one of the key components. That is efficiency. Instead of having to put that freight in the board, deal with 20, 30 calls, setting people up, doing all this mess, I can just call Jimmy and be like, yo, Jimmy, I got another load coming out of Florida. It's going up to VA. Same thing you did last week, man. I think it may be a little bit heavier. So I'll give you another $50 if that's cool. Yeah. All right, Pedro, send it on over. Boom, done. Like, we're finished. 15 minutes, making a call, sending a load. We're done, And so that's another big thing with me on that is it saves time, man. It allows you to focus more of your time towards building your book of business, solving problems that your customers have, solving problems that your carriers have. So, yeah, a lot of people talk about it, man, but I don't think a lot of people really know what it truly means to build those relationships with their carrier partners.
I think that they haven't had to in a long time because, no matter what, even when rates were high a few years ago, it's been a broker's market for over 4 years now.
Yeah.
So it's like people's attention spans are, pretty damn short, right? So there's a lot of people who are peacocking around right now who have never actually worked in an environment where there is a deficit of capacity across the country, and they have to actually fight to get a truck to come pick their customers' load up. Very few people out there understand what that looks like. And it shows, man. It really does. And you can tell when certain markets start to turn out there, because that's when you see all the crying on social media from brokers about how, oh, these carriers need to understand relationships. Motherfucker, you just bounced that guy last week for $50, dude. You want to talk about a relationship?
Yes.
Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
I love that.
Dude, I see that all the time. And I just sit back. And then again, man, like I don't publicly comment on any of that stuff, but I see that and I'm like, dude, it's only a matter of time before I'm in your shipper's ear. It's only a matter of time. That's what like keeps me motivated a lot, is when I see stuff like that. Because again, man, like I'm not perfect, right? But I've fucked up a lot in this industry. My claim to fame, Robert, is I know a hell of a lot of what not to do. All right. Because I've done it and it never worked out in my favor.
I am so with you, man. I think every good broker, that should be their foundation. You know what I mean? Like, that's your basement. That's what everything's built on. What is your house built on? A lot of shit that I shouldn't do anymore. Like that's what it is. The wrong things. That's what it's built on. But now we're at the penthouse and everything's great. And I know what I'm doing. So I'm with you, man. On that thing about bouncing these carriers, and it's not always about rate either. I have the same issue on a load every single Sunday. Drives me and my customer absolutely nuts. But I have a load that the freight is literally flown from the other side of the globe on Friday, and it lands itself in Texas on Saturday night if we're lucky, Sunday if we're not. And mind you, because it comes from Cost Globe, it has to go through all these inspections, blase, blase, blase. Load picks up at 8 p.m. Usually it's not ready till like 10. Now my customer pays attention, but still my care is like, dude, I'm still sitting here for 2 hours running my truck, running my reefer. Like, yeah, you're giving me the detention, but like, that's just paying for the reefer. It's not paying for my time. And so, I talked to him. I said, hey man, how about this? What if we move the appointment to like 9:30? Like, the delivery isn't until 5 a.m. in the morning. It's a 3.5 hour ride. You got plenty of time. And he was like, man, that would be great. He said that would actually do a lot more than you think. He said that will allow me to put my kids down for bed because he only lives 15 minutes away from the shipper. So he's like, dude, I could put my kids to bed every Sunday night. He said, I don't have to worry about sleeping through dinner on Sunday like I'm having to do now. And then that was it, dude. Simply moving a pickup time an hour back is going to make all the difference in this carrier's weekend and in his professional life, And so like, I just think that brokers need to open their ears more. They need to be in tune with everyone that they deal with. Same thing with shippers, guys, your customers, guys and girls, like listen to them. When they're complaining to you, don't just answer them like, yeah, that really sucks. Hear what they're saying. If they're complaining about the damn forklift they have that keeps going down and that's keeping you from getting the freight out of the thing, why don't you look in your network and see if you can find someone that sells forklifts or maybe repairs them? They could come out there and solve this problem for your customers. And so, I think that brokers, they miss a lot of things and they get a little lazy when it comes to just relationships, period, or how they think or the things that they think matter to relationships. And they always think it's just money, but it really comes down to solving problems. You solve a problem for someone, man, they're going to be there for you.
Dude, that's exactly it, right? Like, no matter what are you going to do out there? If they need warehousing space, and that's another thing too, man. Like, you got to go just deeper than the surface level of that. That's what creates actual customers for life, right there. Not a transaction for the next 30, 60, or 90 days. When you can go out there and actually help them behind the scenes, because like, at the end of the day, you guys, a lot of these guys are like, hey, I'm a manufacturer. I'm not a transportation company, right? Like, that's why we work with you. And if you're involved in logistics at all, that again, like, the power of social media today, like you can scroll LinkedIn and literally find a point of contact for anything that you possibly need out there. And, and I feel like it's just taking that initiative and taking it a step further. And then here's another thing too, expecting nothing in return, right? Like, I like making introductions for people and just leaving it at that, right? Like, I'm not looking to, oh, hey, remember when I did this? No, man, this is the person that I know. Like, again, like back down to, we just do open deck freight, right? Like, if I ever had somebody come to me and said, hey man, I'm a frozen food shipper, I'm not going to even be like, oh, well, I'll figure it out. I got enough people in my network. Or if I know somebody who needs pallets or whatever it is, it's building up that network behind the scenes to try and facilitate that stuff. Because again, I feel like becoming a subject matter expert in one thing, if you would focus on that, I mean, like you were saying, you guys only do reefer freight, for example. How much opportunity is inside of reefer freight? Endless, right? Just like inside of open deck, there is endless opportunity out there. I don't need to say, oh, hey, I can do air freight. Oh, hey, I can do this. I can do that. I can do that. Could I? Yes. I kind of have pretty high self-belief that I could figure it out. Do I want to long-term? Absolutely not.
Dude, I love that comment too. I am that way when it comes to a lot of things like Dre, man, even though I have got some amazing friends that know drayage. I mean, shout out my co-host Hunter. That's the word he comes from. Christy and JR Knitchell Logistics. Like they have taught me so much, and they're like, "Oh man, we can help you." Like, yeah, no, still don't want to do it. Like, it's just not worth it for me. Leaning on that network and solving those problems and helping not only your customer but even the others in your network, man, and for nothing, like you said, because that stuff goes a long way. If someone knows they can call you and know that you're not going to try to find a way for it to financially benefit you, or you're not going to do it, like that goes a long way. And, even though you may not do business with this person now, like they're going to remember that you helped them with that problem and you solved that and hooked them up with something. And same thing with the person you connect them with, I'll go back to Christy, she's helped me with stuff and she has sent stuff my way too. that even though she can handle, she's like, hey, this is better for you, and hey, you help me out, so I'm gonna repay you with some freight too. So it's that whole you scratch my back, I scratch yours type deal. You know what I mean? Those things go. The value from those are a lot further than just making a little $200 commission or finder's fee or whatever it may be right now.
Dude, I'm right there with you, man. But Robert, that's it for today, man. This flew by. I kind of figured it would,
I know.
but dude, I got as all of us, I got a day job too. Like I am a pretty face, but I'm not just a pretty face. I got to get out there and slang some freight. But dude, how does anybody reach out to you to find out more about anything you got going on? Where's your podcast at? Put all that stuff out there, man.
Yeah. So first, I'll give myself some plugs. I'm pretty much on all social media personally, either is Robert Pedro Peterson or Pedro Peterson. You can find me on everything there. Really huge on LinkedIn. That's my primary thing. Absolutely love that platform. Our show, The Logistics Lounge, same thing. Pretty much you can find us everywhere. LinkedIn, YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, all of those places. And if anyone's watching, you're interested in coming and hanging out with us on the Logistics Lounge, just shoot us a DM, and we'd love to have you on.
Perfect. Robert, I appreciate it, man. If for some reason you guys can't find him or the Logistics Lounge, hit me up. I'll gladly put you guys in contact with them. That is going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show. If you're feeling really ambitious after this one, which you should be, rank the show on iTunes and Spotify, because that's how your network's going to see value. Because if you saw it, chances are they're going to see it as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon. And now